The modern world you live in is not designed to make you strong or independent. It is carefully engineered by society to keep you compliant, predictable, soft, and weak. Look around you and observe how modern culture constantly rewards comfort, celebrates absolute mediocrity, and actively penalizes any man who dares to stand out. Most men walk through life with their heads bowed down, constantly checking screens, begging for validation from total strangers, and apologizing for their very existence. Today, we dissect the ancient blueprint of raw masculine power and dominance. Law number 1 establishes the supreme strategic value of absolute, predatory silence. The weakest and most insecure man in any room is always the one who talks the most, constantly filling the uncomfortable silence to brag about his money or status. When you open your mouth to constantly explain yourself, you hand over your keys. A dangerous man operates in silence because he understands that secrecy creates mystery. When you don't share your next move, your enemies can never predict your ultimate path. True power doesn't need to shout to be recognized by the people around it. Train yourself from this very second to speak only when your words carry absolute weight. The less you talk, the more valuable every single word you say becomes. Let them wonder what you are thinking, what you are planning, and what you want. Your silence is your ultimate shield against the manipulation of the modern environment. Law number 2 demands the immediate and total elimination of submissive body language. Average low-value men are constantly vibrating with hidden nervous energy. They fidget with their hands, adjust their clothes every minute, and look down. These microscopic movements signal to everyone in the room that you are terrified. To reverse this biological curse, you must master the rare law of physical stillness. Act like an ancient emperor seated on a throne, commanding empires with one nod. Keep your shoulders completely dropped, your spine straight, and expand your presence. Step into any physical space with slow, highly calculated, and deliberate precision. Controlled stillness projects an intense aura of massive and unshakable inner certainty. When you move slow, you communicate to the world that you control time itself. Never rush your movements even when you are in a highly chaotic situation. A king is never in a hurry because he knows everyone will wait for him. Law number 3 covers the heavy mastery of the unbroken, predatory gaze. Breaking eye contact first during a serious conversation means instant psychological surrender. It signals to the other person that they hold the ultimate hand over your mind. A truly dangerous and high-status man uses his eyes like a heavy laser beam. Look straight into their pupils with a calm, totally neutral, and unblinking gaze. Let them experience the immense pressure of your visual presence until they break away. Your eyes must communicate clearly to everyone that you can never be intimidated. When someone speaks to you, do not look around the room or check your device. Lock your target, absorb their words, and analyze their hidden motives in silence. This projects an unshakable state of absolute dominance without saying a single word. Law number 4 introduces the highly controlled vocal frequency of absolute command. None of your heavy words will ever matter if they are delivered through trembling. A high-pitched throat frequency instantly destroys your authority in any social circle. It screams to the entire room that you are nervous and lack internal control. Train yourself to speak slowly directly from your deep chest and diaphragm. Anchor your vocal pitch to the lowest natural frequency your body can produce. Incorporate strategic, long pauses between your heavy statements to force them to listen. The most dangerous men in history spoke in quiet, deliberate, and chillingly calm tones. When you speak less and speak low, people naturally lean in closer to hear. Your voice becomes a rare commodity, and rare commodities are valued like gold. Law number 5 dictates the total, unapologetic refusal of personal justification. Weak men are constantly explaining their personal lifestyle choices to get validation. They act as if they owe the entire world an explanation for their boundaries. You do not owe anyone a single sentence about how you live your life. When you defend your decisions to outsiders, you are begging them for permission. State your final decision clearly, firmly, and let the conversation end right there. Moving forward, law number 6 enforces the brutal code of radical ownership. A weak-minded man lives his life as a professional victim, blaming everything around him. He blames the terrible economy, his poor genetics, or his bad luck for failures. But a dangerous man understands that everything in his life is his own fault. When you blame external factors, you hand over your entire power to them. Take absolute responsibility for your financial status, your health, and your failures. Law number 7 demands the absolute destruction of the weak herd mentality. Most people do not think for themselves. They simply copy the distracted masses. They follow the exact trends, watch the same garbage, and live in mediocrity. A high-status masculine predator detaches himself completely from the blind crowd. He spends his quiet weekends building his own massive empire in the deep shadows. Never be afraid to walk completely alone on a highly dangerous, narrow road. Finally, law number 8 reveals the devastating weapon of emotional detachment. If a simple insult or a cheap comment can trigger your anger, you are controlled. True masculine dominance lies in absolute, freezing, and bone-chilling cold indifference. Look at disrespect in absolute silence. Smile softly and completely dismiss them. Never let an outsider pull you out of your calm, strategic state of mind. Save your limited emotional energy entirely for your mission, your goals, and family. A man who cannot control his own emotions can never control an empire. Master your internal chemistry before you attempt to master the external world. We have officially reached the final chapter of this ultimate power blueprint, but your actual physical execution begins the very second this audio ends. Reclaim your deep, predatory silence and secure your unbreakable, steady gaze. Deepen your vocal frequency, take ownership, and separate from the blind masses. Subscribe to Alpha Mastery right now to join the ranks of elite, powerful men. Drop a heavy comment below if you are truly ready to rule your destiny.